Toto. I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're busting some major myths surrounding the fabled behind-the-scenes story of the Hollywood classic The Wizard of Oz.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of evidence to support that it's intentional, but that certainly doesn't undermine how cool it is to sit and watch it.
The movie was cursed.
Everything that can happen on a film happened to that film.
The joy you see on the screen in The Wizard of Oz, that was an illusion.
The Wizard of Oz is constantly listed among movies with so-called cursed productions. Regardless of your stance on the supernatural, the movie's hazards and challenges are not very mysterious. Making the movie was an arduous process. The shoot took over half a year, seeing dramatic personnel changes and requiring long and tiring days. All these things make accidents and workplace tensions way more likely.
How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
Filming in 3-strip Technicolor, which was still novel, required hotter lights to capture the colors, therefore making heavy, hot costumes even harder to manage. If a curse did surround the movie, it was intolerable labor conditions. Its many myths are most likely helped along by the movie's allegorical nature and our unwavering desire to ruin our own childhoods.
I'm frightened, Annie. I'm frightened.
Over the Rainbow's origins.
We had finished most of the songs, or all of the songs, but the one for Judy in Kansas. And I knew what I wanted.
Songwriters Harold Arlen and E.Y. Harburg's now classic ballad was almost cut from The Wizard of Oz. It's alleged that executives at MGM thought it slowed the film down, but without the song's beauty and wistful optimism, and Judy Garland's excellent performance, the movie wouldn't be the same.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
A rumor sprouted up that its writers wrote it about the Holocaust. While it was written in 1938, as the groundwork was being set for the coming genocide, it was not written as a response to it. The myth-busting website Snopes.com suggests this false history came from misquoted passages of a piece written by Rabbi Bernard Rosenberg. It's a flattering testament to the power of the song's sense of hope and escapism, though.
Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me.
L. Frank Baum's coat is worn in the film. Some claims seem a little too outlandish and serendipitous to be true, like this one.
I never do anything without consulting my crystal first. Let's go inside here. We'll just come along. I'll show you.
An oft-repeated claim is that a coat worn by Frank Morgan, the actor who played the Wizard of Oz among several other roles, was once owned by L. Frank Baum, the author of the Oz books. The story goes that it was purchased by the studio's costume department in a second-hand store, and Baum's name was later found in it. Sometimes the story goes that only his initials, LFB, were found in the coat.
There was always something more, and so there was a quest.
There's no documentation anywhere to support the claim except the studio's marketing materials, some of which cast further doubt by asserting the coat is worn by the Scarecrow rather than Morgan. Either way, it's also widely known that studios in this era could and would say anything to sell a movie.
It's exactly so. I'm a humbug.
Oh, you're a very bad man.
The dog playing Toto was paid more than Judy Garland.
Oh, Toto, that's not polite. We haven't been asked yet.
Oh, he's perfectly welcome. As one dog to another, huh?
This is a case of a fact being blown out of proportion. Terry, the terrier who co-starred as Toto, did make a pretty penny for her appearance. Her owners actually made more on the movie than most Americans did in a week. However, this has given way to the clickbaity claim that the dog made even more than star Judy Garland.
I'm Dorothy Gale from Kansas.
Oh, well, is that the witch?
Oh, Toto? Toto's my dog.
Well, I'm a little muddled.
While this is probably an exaggeration to illustrate how the studio system lowballed its stars, it's far from true. Toto's performer did make more than the actors cast as Munchkins, though. The performers allegedly made only $50 a week, as opposed to the Dogs' $125.
It all depends on who you were connected with.
Toto had better connections than you?
I guess he did.
What was Toto's connection?
I don't know. He got there before I did.
The Munchkins' behavior. One of the enduring stories about the making of The Wizard of Oz involves the little people cast as Oz's Munchkins.
They were drunks.
They were little drunks?
And they put them all in one hotel room. Not one room, one hotel in Culver City. Yeah. And they got smashed every night, and they'd pick them up in butterfly nets.
Stories told over the years by Judy Garland and other stars at MGM during the shoot paint a picture of the performers that feels completely opposed to their on-screen nature. In fact, the surviving actors spent many of their later years combating stories of their hotel rowdiness and substance-fueled antics off-set.
You know, as Jerry Marin, one of the Munchkins, says, you know, they got up at 5 a.m., you know, had to be in the studio for makeup and all. They didn't have that much time for a lot of the parties and going-ons, but I think a lot of it's just blown out of proportion.
These stories became the basis for the 1981 movie Under the Rainbow, which was widely panned for many reasons, including its dehumanizing treatment of little people.
If I was 6 foot tall, I'd go to every one of those guys that wrote those stupid things. You know, it was awful. I'd have grabbed them up against the wall and said, you know what you did? Bang!
The alternate ending. Even The Wizard of Oz isn't immune from the Mandela effect. Some fans swear they've seen a deleted ending.
But it wasn't a dream. It was a place. And you were there.
The movie famously ends with Dorothy waking from her extended dream of Oz to find none of it really happened. This supposed alternate ending, often claimed as the version for television, supposedly includes a shot of Dorothy's ruby slippers, suggesting it wasn't a dream after all. However, some viewers remember the slippers on her feet, while some say under the bed.
Keep tight inside of them. Their magic must be very powerful, or she wouldn't want them so badly.
While modern, this twist doesn't really make much sense with the message the movie leaves us with. There's no evidence that another ending was ever broadcast or added to a home video release.
Doesn't anybody believe me?
Of course we believe you, Dorothy.
The Poppy Trip. Over time, theories have implied that The Wizard of Oz makes covert references to substance use. But how many of them are true, and how many have been placed on the film retrospectively?
Something with poison in it, I think. With poison in it. But attractive to the eye, and soothing to the smell. Poppy.
Audiences have surmised that the poppy fields that Dorothy and the gang enter are meant to represent opioids, as poppy flowers are a natural source of opium. While this initial connection is true, some further reads on the scene are a bit extreme.
It's snowing! No, it isn't. Yes, it is! Oh, maybe that'll help!
In the film, Glinda wakes the sleeping quartet with sprinkled snow, which some viewers have assumed must represent another illicit substance. There is no confirmation to this claim, though we could understand why such a connection was drawn after giving this scene another watch.
Step into the sun, step into the light. Keep straight ahead for the most glorious place on the face of the earth or the sky.
The Dark Side of the Rainbow. Sometime in the 1990s, a fun, slightly ominous anecdote began to spring up around Oz. Fans of Pink Floyd's classic The Dark Side of the Moon album swore that the album synced up perfectly with The Wizard of Oz.
Now simply kick back and judge for yourself both the lyrical and musical synchronicity.
Balanced on the biggest wave, race towards an grave.
It became part of the legend that the band did this on purpose. Its members vehemently deny this, going so far as to call BS.
Quote, it's absolute nonsense. It has nothing to do with The Wizard of Oz. It was all based on the sound of music. Presumably he's joking, although with Nick it's hard to know sometimes.
Coincidental music cues and lyrics are sometimes uncanny. The proof that it's unintentional is evidenced more by what doesn't sync up with the movie, which is most of it. At 42 minutes and 50 seconds, Pink Floyd's album is less than half of the movie's runtime. And there are only a few eerie moments of true synchronicity.
And there are these strange coincidences. I'll call them coincidences.
So maybe if you play this while you watch the movie Wicked.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? We never know.
The book the movie was based on was a Populist allegory. Professor Henry Littlefield was adamant that L. Frank Baum's fairy tale about a girl who lands in a vibrant fantasyland was a covert populist parable.
Frank Baum's talent was turning these visual symbols into meaningful and sometimes spiritual symbols that worked in the context of the story.
He proposed that Dorothy's silver slippers, changed to ruby for the film, represented the movement to move toward a silver standard. Meanwhile, the gold standard was supposedly represented by the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road.
While there's a lot more to Littlefield's interpretation, it's been heavily criticized by historians of the era. That hasn't stopped the internet from claiming this was Baum's intention, though. This is also just one of the many political frameworks others have mapped onto Baum's story, proving its power to remain relevant and timeless.
Uncle Henry never laughed. He worked hard from morning till night and did not know what joy was. He looked stern and solemn and rarely spoke.
Baum, in many ways, is saying that this Western dream seems to have hit a wall.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. What's in the background? By far the darkest and most common myth about The Wizard of Oz involves a tragic death. Before remastering, a shape in the background of the set looked vaguely like a swinging body.
It's not on every copy. You have to have the collector's editions. This is the one you want to own because this is the only place to actually see.
Legend goes that a Munchkin performer took their own life on set, and the aftermath is in the shot. Apparently, no one at MGM bothered to edit it out of the original release. Only years later, after the movie was compressed for grainy home video releases, did anyone notice.
I wasn't interested enough to get out a magnifier and check the validity. I bought it. Good story.
This myth has been thoroughly debunked. It's actually an exotic bird, many of which can be seen in earlier scenes. But that can't keep a good conspiracy theorist down. A YouTube user has even edited the footage to keep the ruse going.
I haven't got a brain. Only straw.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
What's your favorite story from the set of The Wizard of Oz? Tell us in the comments.
People believe a lot of the things that she is told, which in fact, we know are not true.